What's going on, man? Welcome back to the basement. I'm Ron. Got a fresh and so clean fade going on here. I figured it's a Monday. Why not get the week started with a mock draft? We're going to come out here, not a mock draft. It's actually an underdog fantasy, real money, Superflex draft. I haven't hopped into any of these yet. Pretty raw when it comes to Superflex draft strategy, so I figured we'd hop on here and kind of figure it out together live on the run. Now, how are we doing? How is everybody in the chat right now? Let me know. We got Tyler in here. What the hell? Oh, there's where the comment went. We got Tyler in here. We got Pesky in here. How are we doing today? How are we doing on this great Monday afternoon, fellas? How are we? We got Pesky in here. We got Brock in here saying he's very average at one quarterback, but he's good at Superflex. I'm the opposite. Last year, I made no money on Superflex stuff. I'm so bad at it. It's a whole other puzzle you have to solve. What do we got? Can we get in these with you? Yeah, I'll actually show you where we're going to join, and you can try and time it up. It's going to be on Underdog Fantasy. If you aren't already signed up for Underdog Fantasy, use promo code RON. They'll match your deposit all up to $100. I have a link in the live chat that's pinned. It'll take you right to Underdog. I have a link in the description. I'll have a link down below in the comment section. All of that good stuff. So let's get this pulled up real quick. So this is where we're going to go. I actually definitely got to fix the way that the screen is all oriented right now. So we're going to go to NFL and then the big board Superflex. What else we got going on in here? We got Jonathan in here. We got Dylan. What's going on? All right. I'm going to join this. I'll give you guys a little countdown in case anybody wants to try and catch me here. I'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. Now, if anybody wants to, this is going to be just a pretty chill live stream. So, actually, this is already full. So, I don't know if any of you guys got in here. But feel free to ask me fantasy questions. Like, we're just hanging out. Whatever you guys got for me. Fantasy questions, life questions, whatever. I don't like how zoomed out this is. I also want the draft board too. Let's pop out the draft board. All right, I think that looks good. And then I'll just put myself here. Yeah. All right, so it starts in 17 seconds. What do we got going on, fellas? Let me know if you got any questions, you got any concerns. How are we? How is everybody's Monday? I put in a future on Lakers versus Celtics in the NBA Finals. If anybody wants to tail the boy there. I think it was like $35 to win 1,000. All right, let me get the draft board view here. Now, remember, this is Superflex. This is my first Superflex draft as well. I've been in slow draft hell. I have like 1,000 big board drafts going on in the background, so I've sort of neglected these big board drafts. You said you never try to do the Galaxy Brain and punt QB early. I agree, unless I'm at the end. If I'm at the end and I'm like at the 12 or 11, it's tough. I know Overzet's been talking about it, like, your Dak Prescott isn't going to beat the Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts team. So I think if you're at the back end of the first, then you can start Galaxy Braining. But even then, that's hard to sort of thread that needle and figure it out. All right, now we're 2 picks away. We got a bunch of nice quarterbacks on the board here. I think I'll be taking Lamar Jackson. Or actually, I'll take Herbert here. Why not? Okay. So at least we got a draft spot here. Like, usually I get super unlucky and I don't get a nice draft spot. But at least, 7th overall, you can get one of the, not one of the elite quarterbacks, but, these are still guys that I would put in the top tier that can all pretty much challenge for QB1 overall. You got the 12 spot? You're Larry Bird? Swaggy P's vibing. What do we got? How does your model feel about Hyatt and Hooker? Are you applying context regarding systems that tend not to translate as well in your scoring? No, I can't really communicate to the model, numbers wise, that they had a irregular offense. But I mean, we've seen sort of like irregular offenses and people come into the NFL and sort of figure it out. Uh, Trying to think through some of the weird offenses, like Georgia Tech with like Calvin Johnson and Demarius Thomas. Um, yeah, there's really nothing from a number standpoint I can do besides like manually adjusting things. And like once you start manually adjusting things just like to your pleasing, then you kind of lose the whole point of the model. Um, so yeah, I don't take any points away for both of them being in like a very friendly offense, but as well, the model is like not in love with them. Like Jalen Hyatt was elite, but now his like official relative athletic score came in. He's below elite. He's like just a gold, and Hendon Hooker's a silver quarterback. So I don't really feel like they're getting pushed up too much here. All right, so we're up in 2 picks. Is this where we take QB2? Man, oh man. I heard the goal is to have 4 top 24 quarterbacks. I still like I said, I'm pretty lost when it comes to the Superflex stuff. Like I don't really know what I'm gunning for here. I'm gonna have a really tough time passing on Stephon Diggs. Also, it's only 2 wide receivers, so it really takes leverage away from wide receiver here. If I can scroll without my laptop crashing on me. Yeah, I mean, I want to take one of these wide receivers pretty bad, but it just seems like I might as well, surrender to this quarterback avalanche and just take Danny Dimes. I don't like it at all, but I think it's just what has to happen. 1 and 12 teams are basically dead. Yeah, I kind of agree unless if you can like really thread the needle. You're in the 6th spot? Okay, so we got guys in here. We got Pop-Tart in here. We got Ada Unknown at the 11th spot. Okay. GT wasn't running the option with Calvin Johnson. Oh, okay. Trying to think of some other like weird offenses. You could kind of call TCU's offense with Quentin Johnson sort of weird. But yeah, it's hard to adjust for that stuff. And then of course like any like Army, Navy, Air Force type guys. But we try to adjust for it by using market share stats anyways, to be real. Dane Brugler dropped his he dropped his, I think he calls it the Beast or the Monster or something, but it has all the pro day times in there and everything. It's pretty crazy. I don't know why. I had a point to make about Dane Brugler's thing, but I forgot it. Okay, we got fans of the Dimes Herb duo. Okay, we got Jonathan Gator at number 3. Yeah, Paul Johnson got to Georgia Tech in 2008. Calvin Johnson's last season there was in 2006. Makes sense. So I guess you would just say Demarius Thomas. You also have like those like super run heavy schemes. Like when Jalen Hurts was quarterback at Alabama. Let's take a falling Eckler here. Why not? He kind of stacks to Herbert, even though we don't really know if he's going to get traded or not. And like I said, because this is a 2 wide receiver format instead of a 3 wide receiver format like usual, the leverage really swings towards running back and quarterback in this format. I'm trying to see here. I don't know why it gets so slow when I pull this up. Like, this is insanely slow. So yeah, it is 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, a tight end, a super flex, and a flex. Okay. So that means we really, especially in half PPR, like wide receiver gets really devalued in this format. 3rd round Eckler feels really good. I know that there were some nice wide receivers on the board, but I'll take that. You need yeah, exactly. You start adjusting for too many things when you start doing that. It's really just a matter of having nuance with these. Like Jalen Hyatt was pushed up as like the model's wide receiver 2 until his RAS got adjusted. And if that was the case, he still would have been like my wide receiver 5. It's really just, taking what the model spits out and then applying your own, subjectivity and nuance to it. And with Jalen Hyatt, it's obviously like it's a pretty damn big red flag that he ran like 85% of all of his routes in college out of the slot and was a pure like vertical wide receiver in a scheme that kind of like made that easy for him. Like he is his game isn't very translatable. So some red flags there, if you will. Model inception, yeah, exactly. I have one team that started Allen, Cousins, Bijan. Oh, that's fun. All right, we're 3 picks away. And I'm still... So now quarterbacks are really starting to thin out here in the top 50. Anthony Richardson still okay. That's interesting. So we have Giants, we have Chargers. No real clear value on the board to me. Honestly, give me Pollard. Give me Pollard. We're going 0 wide receiver here, man. Dude, I'd argue the entire board in Superflex is actually pretty damn difficult. Like, I'm struggling myself. I really don't know if Pollard was a move there. I kind of actually love this Mark Andrews pick by Pop-Tart. Respect to you, brother. It's actually a great pick. Yeah, Demaryius Thomas in school was ridiculous within that offense, dude. Like, what he did within that offense was insane. $46 for 1154, 25.1 yards per catch, 65% of the receiving yards is insane. Just insane. Don't adjust the model to context. Yeah, exactly. Have you added PFF grades to the model? I haven't. I've tested them a little bit. Hasn't been super strong. I've heard from, I know Ian, Dynasty _IM uses them for wide receivers. I don't think I've tested them for wide receivers yet. I think the only one I really tested them with was quarterback, and it didn't do anything. PFF grades are tough to add to the model because you, or to the RS grades. I always feel like a cornball, like saying the model. It's literally just my spreadsheets. But PFF grades, they only go back to like 2014, and I have draft classes from 2007. I think eventually in like the next few years, I'll probably just like throw out like 07 to 13 once we get some more data in the future. And then I can have a little bit more fun, where I can have like PFF grades, missed tackles forced per attempt, and a lot of these like advanced metrics we didn't have like pre-2010. So I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think in probably like a year or two, I'm going to sort of empty out the back end and add some more fun stats. But yeah, that's why. I'm already using some stuff that wasn't available like pre-2014, and the more stuff you add that you can't, apply to like a third of your sample, things get pretty wonky. Let's go Debo. Why not? I think Debo is actually not bad. How do you feel about Pollard this year? I just traded for him in Dynasty. It's really just a matter of surviving Bijan in the draft, which I kind of think that he will at this point. But I'd be excited. I mean, McCarthy's going to want to run the ball more. They franchise tagged him $10 million. We've seen with Zeke that, like, the amount of money that Jerry is putting in the pockets of whoever is the one that's like going to get the ball. So if we see Tony Pollard in a featured role, like I kind of like, the last 2 years of Eckler as sort of a somewhat of a decent comp for Pollard. The only issue with Pollard is like, I don't think he's been as much of a receiving threat as we think. Also, I had Brian Urlacher's college stats pulled up on my Safari, and I'll touch on that in a second. But I do want to see, like, Tony Pollard. Like, I would almost be shocked if Tony Pollard has ever hit more than 70 targets in a year. Not that I don't think he can't, but I think we all assume that he catches passes, and I think that he does. Yeah, he hasn't even. Last year he had 55 targets. Wow. He also hit 1,000 rushing yards on less than 200 attempts. That's crazy. I'm just curious. I'm curious how many targets Zeke had. Zeke had just 23. I think now if Pollard had 55 targets last year and now is Zeke on, I think that you can sort of project him for that like 75 to 80 range with probably upside for more. Wow, so you're going to have Najee fall to me here. I'd actually love to take Najee, but I have to go Trey Lance. I have to go Trey Lance there. T at 502 is stealing. Yeah, I agree. I don't know why anybody would go Hopkins over T. I'd take T over Pollard in most best ball formats too. It's really just this one, half PPR with 2 wide receiver spots and 2 running back spots. It takes 2 pretty good players and slants it towards the running back most times. Also, the reason I had Brian Urlacher's college stats pulled up, you guys would be absolutely shocked. Dude, Brian Urlacher played linebacker, like, of course, and he's like this big white linebacker you think of, dude. He was a crazy athlete. He played linebacker, but he also played wide receiver, and he returned punts and kicks. He had 6 career kick returns, 13 career punt returns, and in his final year, he had 7 catches for 61 yards and 6 touchdowns. Dude, 7 catches for 6 touchdowns in your final year. Now, don't get me wrong, it was New Mexico, it was the Mountain West or whatever, but as somebody that's, like 6'4", 250 Urlacher, like playing wide receiver like that is crazy. And returning kicks and stuff, I think that's pretty cool. I feel like we never see that. Like the only guy I can think of like that was like Jabril Peppers, and he was much more DB than he was linebacker, Like Urlacher was a legit 2-way player in college. And me being, born in 2001, I think of Brian Urlacher as kind of this, like, I don't know. He wasn't that freaky athletic by the time I watched football, Like, he was more just, like, this white linebacker that laid boomstick. I didn't really see him as a freak athlete. Like, I remember seeing, like, Patrick Willis as, like, that guy. I'm trying to think the other one, too. The Panthers had a middle linebacker for a minute. I think it was John Beeson, who was really good for a hot second. He might have played some safety. I wouldn't be shocked there. They don't really have good stat keeping from like the late 90s, but it wouldn't shock me if he lined up there. All right, what do we got here? Dude, I might take Jimmy falling past his ADP a little bit here, but I do think with like Herbert, Daniel Jones, and Trey Lance, I could probably just get away with taking one more quarterback. I feel like I could push it probably all the way to like QB 30. Okay, I actually don't have much I can push it forward. Let's go Jimmy G. Why not? I don't even really like Jimmy G, but I think we go Jimmy G there and we're done at quarterback now. Now we're done. Patrick Willis was him? Yeah, he was, dude. It's a shame he retired so early. I can't really remember what the story was on that. Take Gibbs, I could have. What's going on, Olaf? Olaf Fub? Olaf UB? We got Ant in here. What's going on, brother? Like I said, this is a chill stream. If you guys want to bring up, Dynasty questions, feel free to pick my brain on anything. I'm just hanging out for the next, 12 rounds we got going on here. I always like when you kind of stir up discussion. And I can just start rambling. Also, after the stream, I have a meeting with a guy who I think is going to do short form editing for us. So I think we're going to be expanding to YouTube or YouTube Shorts and TikTok very soon here. Ron, what makes you like Daniel Jones in Redraft but not Dynasty? I think it's really price. Now, this is Redraft Superflex, so, like, I was just kind of, like, honestly here, I was more so just, like, forced into taking a quarterback here. I don't mind him in Redraft because in Redraft he goes, like, 9th, 10th round. It's really just a price thing. In Dynasty Superflex, you're paying, like, a late 4th, early 5th for him. And that's just tough for me. Like, I will say I was being a little bit unkind to him in the buy and sell video because I bunched him in with, like, Tua, and I bunched him in with, your Kirk Cousins of the world. That's probably unfair, right? He has much more rushing upside than those guys. So, he already has the part that those guys don't even have access to, really. The issue just becomes, will his passing ever get there? He's never been a good EPA per play passer. He's never been a good yards per attempt passer. Could he hit a spike year and pass for like 25 to 30 touchdowns with Dable? I wouldn't bet on it, but I think that's in his range. So, like I said, I think I was being a little bit unkind to him. I don't think he's the same. I don't think he's the same category of sell as I do truly believe that like Tua is right now. But he is somebody that I would just like to move off of, just because I don't know. Like I said, he just sounds, or he's in a spot where you really need a lot of improvement as a passer. And we don't really often see guys like you can point at like Geno, I guess, but like guys who go into like year 6 of like starting NFL games and just all of a sudden improve greatly as a passer. How are my MLB basketball teams doing, dude? They all suck, man. Did you see the Damian Pierce conversation in Discord earlier? I don't know why I struggled to get that out. I like caught a whiff of it. Somebody asked me like, why is he a hard sell? He's like maybe RB24 in my rankings, RB17 on keep trade cut, which to me is like a big enough discrepancy to have him as a sell. Sometimes I'll just like see a notification and I'll forget about it because I'm like working on something. But I kind of caught the gist of it. Yours have been bad too. Pitcher's been hurt. Yeah, dude. Mine are freaking maybe not dead because the season's so long, but nothing looks great. Where would you take Devontae Adams this year in redraft? Probably mid to late first. Would you trade QJ and Addison for Olave in 12-team Superflex Dynasty start 10? I wouldn't love it, but I guess. Would definitely do it for Wilson. Good hit on that UConn March Madness future. Thank you, brother. Any NFL futures you like? Nothing really has stood out to me, to be honest with you. No NFL futures, no draft futures. Like the only one I've put money on is Darnell Washington, first tight end off the board, and I don't even love that anymore because Kincaid's been getting so much steam. Wow, Brock Purdy is really falling here, but I'm pretty much done taking quarterback. Let's take a falling Dallas Goedert here. Why not? I don't really even want Goddard, but I mean, what his ADP is 85. Got him at 103. Why not? Chase for 104 in London. Dude, the issue is, man, is like if I have Chase, I need an overpay. So like 104 in London might be fine on like trade calculators and stuff. I don't think I would take that. I think 101 in London would get me to do it, but I don't think you'd get that price. I would do it if there's like a future first added to the London in 104. Even if it's like a 25 first, I think I would. I think some guys would tell you that 104 in London would be fine. I think it's fine on the surface, but like I said, if I have Chase, I want a little bit of an overpay. Just it's so rare. Something that I think that people don't really touch on enough is like pre-Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, the wide receiver one in Dynasty was like very much up for debate for a while. It was like Michael Thomas during his reign. Devontae Adams had like a split second there. You had like A.J. Brown sort of competing for it. You had DK Metcalf competing for it. And then Justin Jefferson comes into the league and is immediately not only just your wide receiver one in Dynasty, but a guy who in these redraft leagues is going wide receiver one and wide receiver two. So two of your youngest stud wide receivers who are in the past would be looked at like as rebuilding assets. They are, your projectable wide receiver one and wide receiver two for 2023. So you're getting points, and you can compete with those guys, and they're not losing any value as guys who are like, pre-25 years old, which is just pretty crazy. Give me Sharb. Why not? Why not let it fly with Sharb? Yeah, I'm open to the idea that Daniel Jones can crush. I'm open to the idea of it. Like I said, I think I was being too harsh in that video on him. I don't think that he deserves to be bucketed with Tua and guys like Kirk Cousins and stuff, because the rushing's already there. Like Kirk Cousins will never rush for 700 yards. Daniel Jones can do that. We can't definitively say that he'll never throw for 25 plus passing touchdowns. So I do think he has a path there. I think it's probably less likely than the market might think. But it's not the same, no ceiling argument as Kirk Cousins. You said all your teams are like 8th to 10th with 1 and 6. Let me see real quick what I got. Dude, mine are no bueno. Or maybe some of them are doing good. I don't know. I haven't checked in a couple days. Yeah, no. 7 drafts, $0 winning. Best one's in 3rd. Yeah, my best one's in 3rd though, so maybe that one has a chance. You traded the 110, 109, 211, and Tannehill for Dak and the 202. I kind of love that. Yeah, that's a sweet trade, Brandon. You really didn't give up a ton. You really didn't give up a ton to upgrade the Dak, I'll say that. Yeah, I agree. Give me Chase over that London in a pick package. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Daniel Jones, he had like a career rushing year last year. If that comes down at all, I mean, he also got very lucky in the touchdown department too. That comes down at all and the passing stays the same, and he's looking pretty rough. Let's go Alvin Kamara here. Why not? I keep betting on him to beat the case, man. But in the 11th round, I can't say no. I truly can't say no. Future Colt Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be like Jefferson and Chase soon. I'm not sure, man. I'm really not sure. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a very solid prospect, but it's just like we have been spoiled with these two, like especially Chase, because Chase was the best prospect since like Calvin Johnson, whatever, and he's completely lived up to it. But we've seen Amari Cooper not be great in the past. We've seen Sammy Watkins, like some of these guys that go top 5 and are supposed to be the next big thing just come into the league and are, I mean, Amari Cooper hasn't been like some crazy like bust, but he, doesn't have a top 12 point per game season at this point. So it's really tough because you have to not only be one of the best young wide receivers, but you have to be like I said, like Jefferson and Chase are literally first round redraft picks, like the wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 consensus in redraft and in Dynasty. Like I think that's a lot more rare than we think. Like the only guy I can think of that was the wide receiver 1 in redraft and Dynasty for like a split second was probably OBJ. Probably like year 2 or 3 OBJ. But remember, like Antonio Brown was big back then, Julio, all of those guys. So it's tough. So what do we got here? Man, these wide receivers are bad, bro. I have to start drafting wide receivers. I've just been ignoring them this entire time. That is not going to work. So you know what? Let's go Jacoby Myers. We'll do a little Jimmy Garoppolo stack here. Why not? Makes some sense, I think. Swift in a 24 first or Eckler, Elijah Moore in a 24 third. Oh, give me Swift there for sure. So Chase was a better prospect than Julio or AJ Green. I would say they were all in the same tier. Like they all hit legendary for me, but if you are like nitpicking, I think Chase clears all of them. I think Chase is literally the wide receiver 1 in the RS grades. I'll check right now. By the way, for anybody out there that is subscribed on Patreon, if you go to Discord, I have this whole spot called RS Grade Library. You can look through. I have the 2023 class. I have every quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end grade since 2007 on here. And if you click on, like, I'm going to wide receiver grades, you can scroll all the way up, and it'll give you, I have my top 50 all-time RS grades. Yeah, so Chase was an 11.65, Calvin Johnson 11.64, Julio 11.61, AJ Green 11.28, and then no other wide receiver was an 11 plus. Next highest was Dez Bryant at 10.67. And I'll give you guys a little sneak peek too. Right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. does qualify as legendary, but he's not in that 11 plus area. And we also have another year of data, whatever, JSN is kind of a cautionary tale of what can happen, whether it's like injury or, down year. How many rookies would you say are too many rookies on one team? 12-team Superflex. 12-team PP Superflex? I have Bijan, JSN. If it's Dynasty, there's really no number I would say where there's too many rookies. Like, those are all good rookies. I think that's honestly fine. Yeah, maybe Antonio Brown was probably the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty and Redraft for a hot second there. And it wasn't because of youth. It was just because he was that dominant. Should I ride this draft class out, or would you look to trade some rookies to minimize risk? I don't mind trading some of those guys if, they're not getting into your lineup or anything. And if you can use some of their youth and trade into a guy that would be in your lineup, I think that'd be probably a good idea. Dude, give me Dolchich is way too cheap. And the fact, and I've been someone that likes Okonkwo, but Greg Dolchich over Okonkwo is ridiculous. Or Okonkwo over Greg Dolchich is ridiculous. Okay, so now we're done with tight ends. We don't need any more tight ends. Goddard and Dolchich, I think, get the job done. You could maybe convince me to draft a third, but I don't really think it has to happen. We need to really start tacking on some wide receivers here. I've just fully punted the wide receiver position. Yeah, and I wouldn't really say Jamar Chase is definitively the wide receiver 1 in terms of wide receiver prospects of all time. It's just where the RS grades have them. But I would put Calvin, Julio, AJ Green, Jamar Chase all in the same bucket. And then I think it's the rest, really, in terms of prospects. Then you can put like Amari and Sammy Watkins and whoever you want. If JSN goes 10 to 15 range, what would that be in the RS grading system? I think he'd still be just elite. I don't think he has a path to legendary at this point. I don't think anybody has a path to legendary. Maybe if Quentin Johnston goes top 10, but that's really it at this point. It's looking pretty bleak there. This can be a big fat reach, but give me Josh Downs 20 picks ahead of ADP. I think he goes way too late. He's somebody I'm drafting on all of my best ball teams right now. For some context, that Trace trade, guy with him has no quarterback and Superflex, so thought it might help him. Yeah, 100%, dude. If you can add Drake London to your 104 and get a way to get Chase there, like I love the Chase side. Yeah, you could look to move off of Boutte if you want. Like let me look through these. In terms of guys who like aren't really gonna help you win now, like I would say like Mims and Boutte, but like everybody else is pretty. I mean, everybody else should have an impact. I don't know. It depends on how hard you're trying to compete. Like maybe you can come out the gates and, if it's like, oh man, I need more points to really compete here, maybe you do that. Sell off some of the young guys. Yeah, I agree. I want to say though, as of right now, I actually haven't projected to have like freaky film grades and stuff. I think I already have him projected to go top 10 and have like an elite Lance Zierlein grade. But we'll see. Because if he gets, I think only Sammy Watkins, Amari Cooper, Devonta Smith, and Jamar Chase have gotten like a generational land 0-line grade, and that would probably push him over. But yeah, I agree. Top 10 draft capital. If he's a freak athlete too, that could even bump him up another. So I agree. I think that he has a path there. And I'm excited for Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm not necessarily a hater. It's gonna be interesting too, though. Like Ohio State, this is gonna be the first time that they don't have a very. Does anybody know the quarterback situation at Ohio State? Because I mean, they had a very nice run of like Fields through Stroud there, and even I guess like Haskins before that. I guess they always figure something out. Is it McCord maybe? Yeah, exactly. That's why I've been very hesitant to like Quentin Johnson has been very close to being legendary this entire time. But I've been very cautious. Like you said, like you don't want to use that designation lightly. Like I want to make sure it's official and everything checks out. Like I don't just want to slap that label on just about anybody, you know. All right, so let's get Palmer and stack him to Herbert here. So that's fun. Yeah, exactly. Thoughts on Tyler Scott? I don't mind him. He's interesting. He's a guy I think could go like second round. If he goes like second round to the Chiefs, like he might end up being like a second round rookie pick. Or I think he actually would be. I think that's in his range. He's like a 21-year-old early declare. He doesn't really pop numbers wise for me, but he's interesting. He's somebody that I'm willing to listen on, I think. This is my first year owning a Dynasty team, but I've been following it for a while. I feel like the third round of the rookie draft has some good names. Or do you think the draft will weed out some guys? No, I agree. It's funny because you'll see some guys on Twitter just like call this draft class bad, and it's just not. It's just not. We have the best running back prospect since Saquon. We have 3 to 4 quarterbacks slated to go in the top 10 in the NFL draft, and these are the most important positions in our game. JSN, who is as clean of a wide receiver prospect as we've seen since Chase. I think the late first is underwhelming in the early second, but then it's just like a massive tier of like very good names where you're going to get like day 2 wide receivers where if like a A.T. Perry or a Tyler Scott or a Cedric Tillman go on round 2, they're going to be interesting. Same with all the day 2 running backs. Like as of right now, I think Jacob Sanderson had a tweet. Shout out the boy. But if you look at Dane Brewer as the beast, he just dropped it today, and it's like his manifesto of his running back rankings and stuff. I think he has 7 running backs with a third round grade or better. I'm going to double check. All right, we're on the clock. I don't have a damn clue what I'm about to do here. Damn, I would love to go Wandale for the Daniel Jones stack. I have to go Tyjae Spears here. I have to. Way after ADP, and like I said, like running back is valued a lot more in this format. I kind of like how this team's sort of forming out here. It's not looking terrible. Jacob said he was referred to in this ESPN article. I would like to see that. His work was quoted here. Wow, he did quote Jacob. That's a huge get, dude. That's a feature in an ESPN article. That's sweet. But all right. So 7 running backs were graded solemnly within day 2. So these are the running backs that Brewer gave a round 1 through 3 grade. You have Bijan, Gibbs, Charbonnet, A-Chain, Spears, Roschon, and Tank. Which I think Roschon Johnson's the one that's going to get like round 3 draft capital that the Dynasty community is not super high on. And then you had 4 guys who had a round 3/4 grade of Zach Evans, Abinaconda, Kendre Miller, Eric Gray. So you have, I mean, in terms of, what would you guys say like the over-under at of running backs getting drafted rounds 1 through 3? Then the over-under probably have to be like 6.5, which is exciting. You know, those are a lot of like second rounders that are going to be fun. There's going to be like your Khalil Herberts and your, I'm trying to think of like those other like fun guys. I mean, your Khalil Herberts, your Ramondre Stevensons of, you know, day 3 guys with some juice that are going to be fun. You have like 6 tight ends that I think are draftable in rookie drafts. So this rookie class, it hasn't absolutely lived up to the hype because the running back class didn't have those like top end talents, right? It's much more of a shit ton of silvers than it is like 5 elites up top like it was in 2017 with like Kamara, McCaffrey, Fournette, Cook, Mixon, but still a strong running back class, and the rest of the class is strong. What's going on, Ben? No, dude, I love the questions on rookie stuff. I love any questions in these lives. I got to be honest with you guys. Like, my least favorite lives are where there's like nobody really asking questions. I'm just sitting in here quietly making picks. When you guys give me stuff that I can just latch onto and ramble about, it's perfect. Michael Wilson's not a guy that's really on my radar, but Jonathan Mingo's picking up a lot of steam. Relative athletic score is really good. He's a big guy. Seems like teams kind of like what he can bring as like a blocker. And as like a utility sort of like yak guy. And if he goes like round 3 or round 2, I think that he's pretty easily a silver in the RS grades. Give me Kendre Miller. I don't like this pick at all. Dude, I need to get wide receivers. All right, so how many picks we have left? Let's actually map this out. 18, 19, 20. We have 3 picks left. No more QBs. So 3 picks left, no more QBs. We're probably good at tight end. I think we're going to go 1 more running back, 1 more wide receiver, 1 more tight end. So 4, 7, 6, 3. I think that's exactly what we'll do. And let's actually see real quick in terms of like wide receivers and tight ends. Do you have anything lining up with the Chargers? No, sir. Do you have anything lining up with the Giants? Okay, Campbell, Slayton. I'm not really interested in Bellinger. 49ers, anything interesting here? No. And then the Raiders. Renfro around? Nope. But Hooper is. That's interesting. All right. Not really in love with any of those names, but I think that's probably fine. Put myself up here for now. Why do I like down so much? He's just a very clean prospect. He's just very clean. He produced all 3 years. Really the only thing that is size and draft capital holding him back. He's Lance Zierlein's wide receiver 2. His relative athletic score is above an 8.8. It's really just a size and draft capital thing that's pulling him back. This is best ball. This is Superflex best ball. Marvin Harrison Jr. will be fun joining Stroud or Young on the Texans in 2024. Yeah, that would be pretty sweet. But I thought you said Marvin Harrison Jr. was going to be on the Colts. Yeah, exactly. There's guys that are going to go like round 3 of the NFL draft that are going to be like rookie 3rd and 4ths. Mark Andrews at the 607 in Dynasty Startup is insane. He's universally underrated right now. All right, give me Paris Campbell. All right, so there is our wide receiver. No more wide receivers for us. Damn, do we think we could get through with these 6 wide receivers? All we need is 2 of these guys to show up every week. I really just want, like, I know we don't need running back because we already got Eckler, Pollard. Like, we have big names, but I kind of want to add 1 more just to be really aggressive there. And I kind of want to add 1 more tight end on top of this room. I could be talked out of it, though. they don't care for this. They don't care for this running back class at the top end. I think that's the biggest misconception right now. They don't care. They only want to take Bijan in round 1, maybe Gibbs in round 1. But when it comes to like 3rd round and 4th round running backs, I think we could see like 10 go in the 3rd and 4th round, which is exciting. Ron needs to be benching 300 pounds, dude. I can't even hit 225, bro. Yeah, exactly. I think it wouldn't shock me if Mingo was a 2nd rounder. Like we see every year, like who are like some of the weirder second, like McCole Hardman was like a weird 2nd rounder we've seen. Van Jefferson, like we're gonna get some of those guys. I could be talked into Downs over Addison as well. We got Devin in here saying I'm the man. Thank you, man. Yeah, this is some 0 wide receiver stuff here. And I don't usually go 0 wide receiver, but in this format where you only have to start 2 wide receivers, man, I think it's the play. But I don't know if I'm too thin here. I think Debo, Ayuk, Myers, Downs, Palmer, Paris Campbell can get me through. Maybe I should draft one more. Maybe I should just leave it at six running backs here. I think I'm going to. I think I should just leave it at 6 RBs. I gotta just trust Eckler and Pollard to put in big weeks. You have Cooper and Ridley over Debo? Debo's so tough, man. Debo's so tough because I think his baseline's below those guys, but I think that he has an efficiency ceiling that those guys can't even sniff. So it is kind of a upside play. But I get it. Very, very easily could just be not efficient again this year or get hurt like he seems to get every year. So I get it. You're not getting a massive discount on him. Mingo would be a great fit on the Bills at the end of round 2, I'm just saying. Yeah. All right, let's get a free Jelani Woods here. I was gonna try and stack him. Let's go Jelani Woods. I'm probably gonna take a wide receiver here. I've been saying that I was gonna take a running back, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll just take Darius Slayton and call it a day. Overall, I kind of like this team. I don't hate it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, last year he wasn't very good. That was the issue. He wasn't like usually you could bet on Debo to be in the upper echelon of efficiency, and he just wasn't that. I guess you could say, was he injured last year, Debo? I don't know, dude. Debo's tough to gauge because, like I said, the ceiling is crazy. He can hit 20 points per game without 100 receptions. Yeah, exactly. Terrace Marshall. I'm just not excited about Terrace Marshall. You guys see Richie James is on the Chiefs now? That's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I mean, they use anybody. What was I about to say? All right, if Darius Slayton's still up here, I'll take Darius Slayton. Yeah, why not? I know I was saying I was going to go 4-7-6-3, but instead we went 4-6-7-3. I think that was probably the move. I actually kind of love this team. Who was saying JSN? Dude, I want JSN 13th to my Jets so bad, dude. So bad. Imagine how electric that would be. Him, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, dude. I need it. I just don't think he's going to make it to 13. Ron, do you feel with guys with more limited roles, like, for example, Roschon and D. Washington, are a trap, or do you lean more towards the upside swing with them? Roschon's tough, but I will say because he's a running back, you can kind of make the case that any of these guys can get a big role just with an injury. And a lot of the guys you're going to be drafting in that Roschon range of, like, you know, late second, early third rookie drafts, that's all you're really looking for anyways. You know, your Khalil Herberts, Ramondre's, guys who just get thrusted into roles with injuries. So not really too concerned there. But I do like Darnell Washington. I'm leaning on the upside. I know he is a run blocker, but we've seen guys come into the NFL as run blockers and then develop as pass catchers. Like George Kittle would be one of them. We've also seen elite tight ends for fantasy also be elite blockers, which would be George Kittle and Rob Gronkowski. So I'd rather just kind of take the discount on a guy who I just think has like unicorn freak upside. I think I already have Palmer. I think I already took Palmer, man. Am I wrong? I got Palmer the pick after Downs. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to be falling for Debo again as well. Richie James about to go for 7,602. But all right, fellas. There's my first Superflex draft. I think it's okay. I would review teams if I had time, but Monday night I'm a little bit jammed here. I have a meeting at 8. I'm trying to see if I can eat dinner before then, so I don't really have much that I can do after that draft. But if you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe. I think we only have 16 likes on this. We got 44 people in here. Come on, give me a like real quick. But that's gonna do it for us today. As always, I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you check out Underdog Fantasy. There is a link in the live chat, link in the description. I'll put a link in the comments once this video is done. You use promo code RON if you haven't already. You can hop on Underdog, and they have a billion things that you can do. They have a billion things, dude. You can do NFL, and you can hop in the big board. You can just go to home. They have MLB stuff every day. They have like the playoff best ball that we were doing for NFL. They have it for NBA, which I've actually been running up a good chunk of these. They have it for NHL. Like, they have everything you could possibly want. They have daily stuff. They have playoff best ball. They have a billion things. They also have like pick'em stuff, which sadly I'm in Jersey, so I can't do this. But if you want to do the higher lowers on the pick'em, these are fun as well. So that'll all be Underdog Fantasy. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. We should have a video out tomorrow, and I will see y'all in the next one.